So apparently I do more than people way more experienced than me, so that's cool. Let's talk about quality of service, and if you're there, you're lucky, it's number 2 of the presentation. And the second one is always better because I had more time to prepare the presentation anyway. So I'm Nicolas STURMEL. I'm a senior network technologist at Direct Out. I'm also an independent consultant. My interest is over media over IP, and I'm a JTNM tester. I got a badge, especially that tells me I'm a JTNM tester, and I'm very proud of that. I'm an AES23 evangelist, and I'm a tool builder. So it's media over IP is all about knowledge, learning, and tools. And we will not talk about the tools today. We will talk about this. This is ChatGPT's interpretation of. I will be doing a presentation on quality of service at the AES convention. What could you draw me about that? So not so much. So let's check again in a couple of years when the presentation has been online. Okay. So QoS, what is it? What do we need? Why do we need QoS? And the different types of QoS with pros and cons and best practices. So QoS is giving priority to a specific service on the network. And of course, we are here at the AES. The video guys are gone, so we can bash on their back. AES23 is audio, and of course it's the most important thing on the network that could exist. So it's basically like when you take the plane and you have multiple lines and you're waiting for your line to be called. And even if you fly business, if you have the chance to fly business, you can cut the line anytime, or the economy line anytime to go to your business line and to board the plane first. So this is what we want for AES23, because basically AES23 is a real-time protocol, and we need the packets to go on the network as fast as possible and with as little interruption as possible. But the problem is that Ethernet is a shared medium. So how do we make the network aware of this packet? This stream of packet is an important stream, and you have to pass it first. On top, Ethernet is fuzzy about timing. There's no timing in Ethernet. This is why we have the PTP protocol in AES23, because we need to put the timing on top of the network. So how do we make sure that it gets to the destination fast and reliably with quality of service? For the third time this show, the same joke over and over again. So you have a sound engineer and an IT technicians talking, and the sound engineer is saying, "Okay, I have lost a packet, and I had to drop in my sound." And the IT engineer says, "No, the packet is not lost. It's just delayed, and continue waiting. At some point, it will come." So the problem is really about real time and securing the fact that we do not trust the network enough to deliver in real time, mostly because of human errors, because the network as itself is quite able to deliver real time if we take the good measures. But okay, do we really need quality of service? And we don't need it. It's not the 70s anymore. The network is good, the switches are good, everything is good, and we have 1 gigabit per second. It's more than plenty bandwidth, and yeah, just do it right, man. Why would you need QoS? Just do the network right, and everything will be okay. But QoS is like a seatbelt. Hopefully you didn't ever have to have a need of your seatbelt in your life, but yet you still put it every time you enter a car. Because when you will need it, you will be happy to have it. And even though it's a constraint, you have this habit of using a seatbelt. So QoS should be exactly that. This is the seatbelt. It's not really useful in providing added quality over a purely quality design network, but if something goes wrong, then you will be protected, up to a certain point, of course. So there are 3 different ways we can do, actually there are more, but for this presentation I isolated 3 different ways we can do quality of service. So from the lower layers of the DOSI model to the upper one. So we have TSN, time-sensitive networking. We have COS, class of service, which is on layer 2. It's used for VLAN QoS. And we have this diffserv, which is used for IP QoS. So let's go on each of those. So first, time-sensitive networking. It's just TDM, time domain multiplexing over Ethernet. Basically, you have a time slot, and during this time slot, you can send a packet, and then the slot closes, and another one opens, and you can send another type of packets. This is really efficient. This guarantees real-time, hard real-time transport, deterministic, because it does traffic shaping, bandwidth reservation. The whole network plays a role in this QoS, so when you send a packet, you know that everybody on the network has said, okay, during this time, I will look for this packet and this packet only. But of course, it requires special switches, special endpoints, and while this technology is getting more consumer available with the new network chips, there is still a long way to go in having TSN everywhere. We then have COS, class of service, which is a tag on the VLAN header. A tag is a number that is associated with the packet and it tells the priority of the packet. And we use this tag to sort the packets in some waiting queues. So this type of QoS is really used on multi-service links. So think about your broadband internet link, where you have your phone, landline phone, your TV, and your internet. Of course, you don't want, when your kid is looking for 4K video of Taylor Swift, to not being able to do a phone on your internet. So the phone signal will always be prioritized versus the TV signal, which will always be prioritized versus the internet signal. And it's also used on truck links, on AV systems, and usually it goes audio first, then light, then video, because when you have an AV venue, video is not really the most important thing because latency is much higher. Lightning can be. So it's a dilemma. It's generally a dilemma for the IT manager. And I have some telling me, I don't want to be the cop on my network. I don't want to decide who goes first and who goes last. Otherwise, I will have a queue in front of my desk of every people saying, oh, no, I want this, no, I want this, no, I want this. So they usually do not use it, and they rely on over-provisioning. So once a guy told me, I have a 100 gig trunk, so there's plenty of traffic for everybody, so they just have to deal with that. And then we have diffserv, which stands for differentiated services. And again, we have services on the network, but then on the same VLAN. So on one VLAN, on one local area network, we have multiple services, and we can prioritize some service over others. So we will prioritize the clock over the audio, over the control. This is true for AES23, this is true for Dante. So it all comes down to prioritization versus time slot. Hard QoS, so the quality of service that gives you hard, real-time guarantee, can only be achieved with the collaboration of every node and at the lowest level. You can get hard, real-time guarantee with differentiated services, but you need to manage your network to be compliant with that. And it's practically impossible to do that right now because everybody will plug into your network, and it's so fragile that usually TSN is used for that. So another comparison, time slot vs traffic queues. you have the time slot is the train, and traffic use is the best effort service is the highway. So I come from France, and often in the train, because trains are really often delayed in France, I hear, and I quote, "We missed our slot, we have to wait for the next slot." Because the high-speed lines have slots, and if you miss the slot, you have to wait for the next one. So this is the main issue we can have with TSN. The whole system has to be real-time compliant, because if you miss a slot, then you have to wait for the next one. So in practice, this is the idea. I have traffic queues working like that. So I have two ports sending packets, so ingress, and those packets are sorted in queues. So for instance, the green and the red will be those prioritized packets. So the color is the tag, and we can address multiple tags within one queue. I have the light blue, so the A and B, the A and C packets really on the lowest queues, and then I have an intermediate queues. And at the egress, I will prioritize D, then it will be time to send B, and only when Q1 will be empty, I will send Q2, and only when Q2 will be empty, I will send Q3. On TSN, it's rather timed slots. So I have a slot for Q1, a slot for Q2, a slot for Q3. This means that if I have nothing to send on Q2, I lose the time. It's really, TDM is not a system where you can get the most throughput. You prioritize quality of timing versus throughput. But it's always true on a network. You cannot have the best throughput and the best timing quality. It's the same for traffic. You can have a traffic jam on the highway, and yet you have more people coming in and out than on a train. But those people are not traveling in their efficient way as an individual, but it's very efficient as a way to moving people. So while TSN is putting pressure on the node capabilities, class of service and div-serve are putting pressure on the flow management. And this is exactly, again, like traffic. Flow management, traffic lights. So if you have timed traffic lights, like you can have on the Hudson Boulevard on the 12th Avenue, you can go pretty fast from the 49th to the 14th Avenue, like we did last time when we went back from the restaurant. So all the lights are synchronized, and you're just cruising. But of course, this implies that there's no traffic, because once the traffic is there, the lights are not synchronized to the traffic, and then you lose time. So what time and when? So when we need hard real time, we use TSN. And today, in our industry, we use TSN for the loudspeaker systems. So you will find TSN at Air Acoustics, Meyer Sound, and DNB. The issue with TSN is that it's a very complex system, so most of the time, you do not need this kind of queue quality of service, and you can use COS or div-serve based on your infrastructure. And COS is really used on a trunk link, and quality of service and div-serve inside one LAN. But it's very interesting. One of the switch manufacturers that is within the TSN working group tried to use TSN anyway in the trunk lines. So even though the user is not using the TSN protocol, when there is a trunk line between switches of the same company, TSN is used to schedule the packets. And they noticed that for some audio over IP protocol, the fact that the packets were correctly timed helped in the reconstruction of the clock, of the PTP clock, and helped the whole system to be better in its overall efficiency. Okay, so yeah, and QoS of course doesn't solve everything. TSN is costly, rare, and extremely complicated. COS and DivServ are just a best effort. An improved best effort, but yet a best effort. So you need to manage your network. You need to do traffic management, and you need to rely on QoS to save you, but not to be your main operation principle. Of course, you need to use QoS as per the manufacturer recommendations. And then just before we had a presentation from Pat that explained how Dante adapted its recommendation to QoS to be homogenized with other network protocols like ST2110 and AES23. So harmonization, system management are keys. Okay. So that's everything for me.